Hello, I'm T.I. Scott, and I'm just making this channel just as a quick disclaimer before you start. If you are somebody else watching these videos, I am making this channel just to refer back to my programming experience, to basically refresh on any concepts, simple or advanced, in all the programming languages that are on this channel. I'll try to organize them in playlist, but just to let you know that it's not necessarily a professional training channel for a programming language. This is just for me to refer back to, um, and and kind of refresh myself on a programming concept if I haven't used a language in a long time. So don't have any high expectations, but you're more than welcome to use whatever you want on this to refresh yourself. But to be clear, I'll probably be going through each of the concepts for most languages pretty quickly, based on the stuff that I do know, such as like the simple tasks. But if there is a more advanced one, maybe I'll go more in depth. But just a heads up, that's how it's going to go. Okay, so first thing I'm doing is I am creating a new Java project. I'm starting out with Java as the first language because it was the first language that I learned. I'm starting a new Java project. I'm going to name it Project One. Um, and for this, you basically leave all these steps pretty, yep, all of them are, yeah, well, oh, I'm in Java E. You leave all these in their default forms. So once you've created a project, you're going to create a class. So a class is basically Java is an object-oriented programming language. So you have different classes, objects, and the reason it's object-oriented is each of those objects kind of have their own attributes and variables and have different data that is transferred to other objects for them to interact. It's also a good language because it's good for reusability. It encapsulates most of the data in one object, so you can kind of structure your programs a lot easier for reusability and understanding uh, how each piece of code relates to another instead of building just one giant piece of code that takes into account everything. So it's a lot more organized, easier for usability, and it helps the development process and some may say speed. And even though Java isn't necessarily known exclusively for being a very speedy language, but it's a good place to start. So that's why I'm doing this playlist first. So after that, I'm just going to name the class um, test one of project one. So what you have is a class declaration. It's public. Up here, you're going to be importing. Let's start very java.util.scanner. This is just the scanner class. It's basically the keyboard input devices. So for a class, you have your class header, um, and inside that, so for each Java project, you're going to need a main method. This is basically where it's like the entry point for execution. Uh, and when you're doing these simple Java projects, it's good to have, like, we're probably just gonna have one class for a couple of these videos, but you're gonna need a main method to execute your project. So as you can see, you have a class, and inside a class there is a method. This is a main method. You can have plenty other methods. uh, down the road where you basically have, say, if you're building a calculator, you can have your addition method, you can have your multiplication, subtraction, division methods, and those will collectively be used in the main method, but they do their calculation inside their own method. So it's breaking it up into different functionalities so you can um, it's more efficient when it's actually being executed, and it's easier to debug, structure, all that sort of stuff. So once you have your main method, we'll start out simple by uh, so we've imported a scanner. Let's just do scanner keyboard equals new scanner system dot in. So what this is that it's importing a scanner, and that scanner is actually an object or a class. It's a class, and you're declaring the type of object first. You're naming that. So we're just naming a keyboard because it makes sense to name it. And then you have to declare a new one. So this is actually constructing it from the scanner class. So you have system.in is basically it's taking an input um, uh, from, you'll see from the console later. And then we'll have a string variable equals keyboard. Oh shit. Let's do it this way. We'll declare the string first. String name equals. We don't even need that. So after that, we're going to have name equals keyboard dot next line. So what we'll do is we'll have this system dot out dot println, and we will have please enter your name. And then what's going to happen is it's going to prompt you to enter your name, keyboard dot next line, and then we can have system dot out dot println. Hello plus name plus welcome to the Thunderdome. Okay, so in this video, we're basically outlining simple string variable declaration, import statement that uses another class, this one being a scanner, the print line, and then uh, inputting the data from the print line, and then outputting that data that you receive from the print line. So we'll stop with this video just to break this up into sort of bite-sized chunks to figure this out. But recap: import, class declaration, creating the project. You create a class. Inside that class, you're going to need a main method. I think we need some arguments here. Yeah. And then we have our print statements, our oh, forget how you're supposed to exit keyboard. Whatever, I'll figure that out and fix it the next one. But it should work. So we're going to run this. We'll save it. So down here we have uh, please enter your name, prompts you. Hello, T.I. Scott. Welcome to the Thunderdome. Cool. So that's our first project or program, a very simple one, but again, just a recap. And if you need to refer back to this as to how to use those methods, functions, whatever. All right. Thanks a lot.